students, in this session we are going to talk about sociology as science. Okay, so this is a topic from your chapter 2. So this is your first topic in your chapter 2. Okay, so from paper 1 chapter 2 first topic, sociology as a science. Now as we always do, first I'll tell you what is the context of this particular debate. Okay, see here, if you look into the questions, sociology emerged as a scientific discipline, and here you can see element of science. Okay, and discuss the statement in the light of the debate whether sociology is a science or not. So you need to tell whether sociology is a science or not. Second question, give arguments for and against for sociology being a scientific discipline. Third one is sociology a science. So in all these three questions you need to answer the same almost, but the orientation, the way you write may be different based on the demand of the question, but the content will be same. Basically you need to tell whether sociology is a science or not ultimately, or you need to give the supporting or disagreement with respect to sociology being science or not. Okay, so this is what actually you need to do. So I hope you don't have any doubt with respect to the first chapter. We have already completed the first chapter, emergence of sociology, scope of sociology, and sociology and common sense. And if you remember, when we talked about emergence of sociology, I've told you sociology emerged in response to challenges posed before modernity in medieval Europe. And the initial sociologist wanted to study society, or the initial sociologists wanted sociology to be on the line similar to natural science. Why? Sociology emerged in 1838, so a very young discipline, relatively young discipline compared to other social sciences. So to get that acceptance or to get that initial legitimacy, you need to tell that this has something to do with science, because there was a general obsession towards science during that period of time. Okay, so initial sociologists, they tried to make it on the line similar to natural sciences, and for that what they did, they tried to use the methods directly from natural science in sociology, and they claimed that it is possible. If you see, Saint Simon even dreamt of social physics on the line similar to natural science physics, and you can see Herbert Spencer's organismic analogy is also an example for that. So initial sociologists, if you see, they all tried to develop sociology similar to natural science. The objective is basically to get that acceptance. Okay, so since then this debate is there whether sociology is a science or not, or sociology is similar to natural science or not, because sociology also framed universal laws. Okay, sometimes these laws are questioned also. So since then this debate is always there whether sociology is a science or not. So I hope you understood the aspect of debate here, or the context of debate. Sociology emerged, and then what initial sociologists did, they tried to develop sociology on the line similar to natural science. So they have used methods directly from the natural sciences, and then they have developed laws also, and they claimed it as universal laws. So some of them were actually questioned, and because of this and this point of time, this debate is there. Okay, now what we need to do now is to answer this particular question. I hope you understood about the context of debate that you can write as your introduction. Then what you need to do is you need to talk what is science. Okay, see, initially science is understood in terms of if you can make universal laws like Newton laws, right? These are universally acceptable. Similarly, there are laws in biology, chemistry, etc. All these are universally applicable. Okay, when you talk about a plus b all square, it is universally applicable. Everywhere it is the same. Okay, so similarly Newton's law, first law, etc. All these are universally applicable. So one of the most important aspect of science is actually universal laws. Second, science study empirical reality. So empiricism. Then empiricism. Empiricism means something which can be seen, empirical reality. It won't study emotions, internal aspects like love, hatred, etc. If you remember when we talked about Weber in the scope of sociology, I have told you scope of sociology according to Weber is studying internal aspects or the micro aspects which include this love, emotion, hatred, all these aspects, etc. Right? But science won't do that. Okay, so initially science is understood in terms of universal laws, empiricism, inductivism. You understood already inductivism. We have discussed about this. There's a method of theory formulation used in science, right? So science is understood in terms of these three elements, and if a body need to be scientific, it has to conform to these three ideals. Okay, but later towards the end of 19th century, the understanding of science is slightly changed. Now, science is understood more in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. Okay, method of inquiry means the way you conduct the study. If you conduct the study in a logical and reasoned manner, if it is based on evidence and reason, if you are using proper methods, if you are not biased, okay, then that subject, that discipline could be considered as scientific. So what I want to tell you is, this was the understanding of science in the beginning, but later the understanding has changed like this. It is understood more in terms of method of inquiry. Method of inquiry. That means if the method of inquiry is scientific, you can call that discipline as scientific. See, if it is based on the first aspect, if this, we can never say sociology is science, because we don't have any proper universal laws which is applicable everywhere. Okay, we don't study completely empirical reality. We talk about internal aspects also, like emotions. Inductivism, instead we focus more on deductive approach. So if this is the understanding of science, sociology is never a science. But if this is the case, if it is based on the way you conduct inquiry, if it is based on method of inquiry, there are many arguments which support sociology as science. But at the same time, there are arguments against also. And that's what we are going to look into. So I hope you understood what you mean by science in this context. Now, there are 4 or 5 elements, basic elements for any body of knowledge to become scientific. Okay, those elements are, first one, inter-subject reliability. Inter-subject reliability. So there should be inter-subject reliability. Inter-subject reliability means there should be same meaning for any particular element that you are taking across subjects. Okay, for example, when you talk about atom have the same meaning across subjects, across natural sciences. Okay, so then if you talk about electron, proton, oxygen, all these have the same meaning, right? Similarly, when we come to sociology also, or social science also, like family, religion, etc., have the same meaning across subjects. So I can say sociology is showing some amount of inter-subject reliability because these elements are defined precisely and have same meanings across topic. Okay, but we'll talk about the criticisms as well. As of now, you just understand what you mean by inter-subject reliability. Second one, quantifiability. Quantifiability means the scope need to be defined clearly. So whether the scope of sociology is defined clearly or not, we will see. Okay, so we will talk when we talk about arguments in favor. Third one, objectivity. Objectivity means when you conduct a study, there should not be any personal biases. Okay, see, for example, when you read history, if you suppose you are reading history, let's suppose you are reading 1857 revolt, you will study different statements. Okay, so if an Indian is writing, he will say 1857 revolt is the first national war of independence, for example, V.D. Savarkar. But an English writing, he will tell that it was a clash between barbarianism and civilization. So both views are different, right? Similarly, history is biased against Muslims because most of the historians are Hindus. History is biased against South Indians because most of the historians are North Indians. History is biased against female because most of the historians are male. So all these subjective bias will be there in all these social sciences. Okay, that should not be there. That's what I'm saying. It has to be objective. So when you are writing history, you should not be writing history as an Indian or English. You should not be writing it as an upper class or lower class. You should not write it as a poor or rich. You should not write it as a North Indian or South Indian or male or a female. You should be neutral. You should be objective. With available facts and figures, you should be in a position to conclude. Okay, so I hope you understood. So objectivity. Then there should be theory formation. Theoretical orientation, and one more, testability. So the theory that you made should be testable. So these are the 5 elements which is understood as most important elements of science. Now what we need to see, whether sociology qualifies to be science or not. Okay, so we will go for the arguments in favor, and we will also talk about arguments against sociology being science. So we can say sociology is showing considerable amount of inter-subject reliability because the elements that defined in sociology, family, religion, politics, etc., defined precisely. At the same time, all these have same meaning for everyone. and across subjects. Okay, so sociology is showing considerable amount of inter-subject reliability. What about quantifiability? The scope of subject is defined clearly, so it is quantifiable. And if you talk about Emile Durkheim, if you remember that in scope of sociology, I have told you he defined the scope of sociology in terms of social fact. So even the extreme abstract forms of societal aspects he tried to define in terms of social facts. Okay, objectivity, you cannot ensure absolute objectivity in sociology because you are dealing with human beings, but sociology is trying to ensure maximum possible objectivity by incorporating some scientific methods and better method of inquiry, etc. Okay, so theory building in sociology, there are a lot of theories. You will be studying a lot of theories when you talk about Marx, historical materialism, mode of production, alienation, class and class struggle. If it is Durkheim, you will be studying division of labor, suicide, religion, social facts. If it is Weber, you will be studying bureaucracy, Protestant ethic, social action, etc. Parsons, social system, pattern variables. Merton, middle range theories you will study. Okay, so reference group theory, anomaly theory, and Mead, theory of self. A lot of theories are there, so there is no problem or there is no shortage, in theories in sociology. Testing, we can say the entire society is actually the testing ground for sociologists. So all these are supporting arguments. Now when you are talking about the arguments against sociology being science, you have to reverse all this. Okay, so you will say intersubject reliability, there are limitations. Quantifiability, scope is not precisely defined as in terms of natural science. Here when you are writing the limitations or arguments against, we are stressing by saying that for sociology being similar to natural science, I'm not saying sociology as science. Sociology being natural science, there are limitations. Okay, so natural science, the scope is very specific. Biology will study this, physics will study this, chemistry will study this, so specific. And the intersubject reliability is also 100%. That may not be the case with sociology. And when it comes to objectivity, science, absolute objectivity is possible, natural science, but sociology, that is not possible. Theory building, Newton's law and all these are true at any point of time, and testability is also there when it comes to natural science. But there are problems in theory building and in testing when it comes to sociology. Okay, there are limitations. You don't want to write too much about these limitations. So this is enough, and then you can conclude. And this conclusion need to be very careful. So I'll tell you here this conclusion. So you understand this conclusion and you will never forget this conclusion. Even if you want to, you should not forget it. Okay, and you will not forget it. See, conclusion, what you're going to write is, you are going to say sociology is science, but you will make sure that sociology is not similar to natural science. So my words will be like this: sociology is a science, but not similar to natural science, but it is a science in itself. Why? The method of inquiry is scientific in sociology, so we can call it as science. You understood? See, sociology is not a science similar to natural science. It cannot be, it can never be. The reason I'll tell you now. But it is a science in itself because the method of inquiry in sociology is scientific. In that context, you can call it a science, right? See, here I've told you method of inquiry. Science is understood more in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. Then sociology is obviously scientific because the methodology is scientific. Okay, now why we cannot call it as natural science? Because the basic subject matter is different. When we talk about natural science, what is the ultimate reducible element? It is matter, which do not have any consciousness. Okay, so this is according to Weber. This is Weber's statement, not my statement. You can quote exactly like the same in the paper. According to Weber, what natural science studies is matter, which do not have any consciousness, and the behavior of which can be predicted easily, and you can establish the cause and effect relationship directly without any problem. So the experiment could be conducted objectively without any bias. For example, if I am telling you that if I boil the water at 100 degrees Celsius, it will definitely get hot. No doubt in that. It is predictable. But that is not the case with human beings. And sociology is dealing with human beings whose behavior cannot be predicted. Okay, so you cannot establish cause and effect relationship just like that, and you cannot ensure objectivity. So between natural science and sociology, what is the difference? Subject matter is the difference. Natural science deal with matter which do not have any consciousness, whose behavior can be predicted, and thereby you can establish cause and effect relationship objectively. Whereas sociology dealing with human being whose behavior cannot be predicted, and you cannot establish cause and effect relationship objectively. It's very simple. Okay, subject matter is different in both cases. See, human beings, you cannot predict the behavior. You cannot even predict the behavior of your father or mother or your son or daughter. right? Same person may behave differently in different situations, or same situation they will behave differently. Okay, so I hope you understood this discussion. So what I'm going to conclude is sociology is a science without any doubt, but it is not similar to natural science. Okay, it is science because the method of inquiry is scientific, and you can call it as science. So sociology is a social science. Okay, so I hope you understood. The basic difference is the subject matter. Natural science dealing with matter which do not have consciousness. Behavior can be predicted. Cause and effect relationship is possible. Objectivity is possible. Sociology dealing with human being whose behavior, whose consciousness cannot be predicted easily. So you cannot establish cause and effect relationship objectively. I hope this is clear. So sociology could be understood as a social science, not as natural science, but it is a science. Okay, so let's move on to the PDF. You will understand it in much better way. So firstly, you can see sociology emerged as distinct discipline in response to challenges posed before modernity in medieval Europe. Any question from your first read topic, you should be starting with this particular sentence because it is covering everything related to emergence of sociology. The orientation of initial sociologists was to develop sociology on the line similar to natural sciences. The scientific revolutions in the field of astronomy, medical science, physics and biology led intellectuals to dream of a discipline which could generate similar universal laws of social organizations also. So initial intellectuals started thinking that they can also make similar universal laws which is made in physics, chemistry, biology, etc. related to social organizations as well. Saint Simon even dreamt of social physics. We have discussed this. Auguste Comte, the founding father of sociology, claimed to have developed laws of universal laws of social organization. Similarly, Herbert Spencer's organismic analogy was guided by the same assumptions of science. As sociology developed, questions were raised on the possibility of employing basic assumptions of natural sciences in sociology. Yes, objections were raised on the validity of the universal laws developed by initial sociologists. For example, the claimed universal laws of Auguste Comte is actually questioned and it has been proved wrong. Okay, so that is actually the reason for this, or the context of this debate. This initiated a debate on the nature of sociology, that is whether sociology is a science or not. So what you need to do is you need to pick around 30 words from this as your introduction for this particular topic, and here it is around 75 words, but you need to reduce it to 30 words. Okay, the roots of this debate located in the basic understanding of the term science. So here we are going to talk about what is science. I've told you already, initially it is understood in terms of universal laws, empiricism, inductivism. Later in terms of method of inquiry rather than body of knowledge. That's what included in this particular paragraph. You can make your own paragraph, that will be much better. Okay, so what you need to remember is these three elements: universal laws, empiricism, inductivism, and method of inquiry. This is what you need to remember. You can make the second paragraph. So the roots of this debate are located in the basic understanding of the term science. During 19th century, the science mainly drew from natural sciences. So the body of knowledge was considered a science only if it yields universal laws and conforms to the ideals of empiricism and inductivism. Okay, you know that. Subsequently, with the intellectual development, the conception of science underwent a change. Gradually, science came to be understood more in terms of method of inquiry rather than a body of knowledge. If this is the case, sociology is a science. If this is the case, sociology is not a science. Okay, because why sociology is science? Because the method of inquiry is scientific. Now science is understood in that way. If method of inquiry is scientific, the discipline is considered as science. Now, science has been defined as any systematic study based on evidence and reason. It assumes that if explanations are given in a logical, scientific or reasoned manner, they must be considered as scientific. Okay, some conditions of science were laid down: intersubject reliability, objectivity, quantifiability, theoretical orientation, testing. Now all these are explained here. Intersubject reliability means that the concepts framed by any body of knowledge should have the same meaning for different people. That is, a concept should be defined precisely. Okay, objectivity, there should be possibility of undertaking investigation without personal biases or preconceptions. Quantifiability, it should be possible to observe things in a quantifiable manner. That is, the scope of the subject should be defined clearly. Theoretical orientation, there should be proper theories, and you can add testing also here, testability or testing. Now after this, each we have discussed here in detail. Arguments in favor, What are the arguments in favor? As a body of knowledge, sociology is considered as scientific discipline on the basis of following arguments. There is a considerable amount of intersubject reliability on the concepts framed by sociology. For example, family, religion, groups, etc. defined precisely and have same meaning for all. So, quantifiability. Then, social objects or phenomena can be social objects or phenomena can be explained in a concrete form through proper description using case studies. So various phenomena like social groups, social institutions have been quantified clearly. So quantifiability, here we are talking about quantifiability. Emile Durkheim, while defining the scope of sociology, tried to quantify even the extreme abstract forms of sociology or society or social elements in terms of social facts. Now here we are talking about objectivity. Absolute objectivity is not possible, but sociology has ensured objectivity by using scientific methodology and proper training of the investigator. Here we are going to talk about theories. Sociology has developed a lot of theories which having considerable applicability on number of situations. Although there is an apprehension regarding the success of universal theories, still the subject matter of sociology is capable of yielding some theories. Okay. For example, Marx's theory of historical materialism, you can add enough examples. Then here, testing. Sociology uses methods and whole society is testing ground for sociologists. Thus, sociology witnesses large number of similar situations in which the theories can be tested. Now, argument against. We don't talk too much about arguments against. In terms of sociology being similar to natural science, there may be number of limitations like limits to empirical testability and universal theories. Absolute objectivity as described in science is not possible in sociology. At times there are obvious limitations on experimentation in sociology. Okay. Apart from this, sociological investigation sometimes it generate vagueness in concept, variations in social phenomena. Okay, between regions the phenomena will vary. Okay, and unpredictable nature of human being. All these are the limitations or arguments against for sociology being science. Now, conclusion, what you will do? You will say sociology is not science similar to natural science, but it is a science in itself because it is based on scientific inquiry. The method of inquiry is scientific, so we can call it as science. Now, you see here in this context, it is acknowledged that sociology is not a science similar to natural science, but it is a science in itself. Difference in the nature of sociology is drawn from its basic subject matter. The ultimate reducible element of sociology is an individual. According to Max Weber, you can quote the statement just like that without any change. Okay, natural science study matter which is not having any consciousness, and the behavior can be predicted in terms of cause and effect. On the other hand, sociology studies human being, the behavior of which cannot be predicted, and thus exact laws are not possible. According to him, sociology is a scientific discipline as it can study subjects by using scientific methodology. So why sociology is science? Because it studies its subject matter by using scientific methodology. Thus, sociology is a social science. Moreover, famous statement by Karl Popper further proved sociology being a scientific discipline. What is that? Science is not a body of knowledge, but method of studying a phenomena. So I hope it is clear. If you have any doubt, you can get in touch with me. That's my Instagram ID, or join the Telegram channel. You'll get all my videos over there. History, economy, sociology, ethics, quantitative aptitude, all these are there. For complete civil service preparation, you just need to follow this Telegram channel only. This is actually one-stop solution for all your preparation for civil service examination. Okay, if you need to write test series, you can get in touch with me. If you need your test to get evaluated by me, you can get in touch with me. This is my contact number also, 77775 or 9790892697. So you can message me, WhatsApp me, Telegram me, or Instagram. This is my Facebook ID, ziasafir or Zia IAS. This is my Facebook page. You can get in touch with me in any of this. Okay, so if you need mentorship program, if you need test series, if you need to show your answers to me, if you need any guidance related to civil service preparation, you feel free to contact me. Okay, so if you need regular classes, that is available in Kerala only, in Trivandrum. Apart from that, online classes are there, live classes are there. For that, you just need to get in touch with me. So see you guys. Thank you.